I bet you can't see that corner on my left over here. Night. And look at that. You can see the corner over here now where you can't even see it on the camera. Looks like we're playing Ghost Adventures. Hold my camera still. Hold it very still. Look at that little moon feature go up. Wow. Alright, let's see what the last results are. And ladies and gentlemen, that looks exactly what that area looks like. They really increased that night sensor. I'm so impressed. Look at that. They even edited it further. You can see the clarity of that light. And the outside window. Look, even if we zoom in, since we have such a high resolution, ta-da, the Space Needle. Galaxy S20 Ultra 5G. I can't believe I have this phone in hand already before the Motorola Razr. I get these phones just like you guys, and I'm pretty frustrated with folding phones right now. A, because of the gimmicks and the reliability, things how the Galaxy Fold phone only unfolds for a 6 to 6.2 inch regular form factor. And here in this S20, and it maxes out what kind of specs, what kind of features you can pack in this device that is still pretty reliable, where you don't get headlines for how flimsy or cheap or how fake the screens are or how many folds it has before it cracks. Let's go ahead and unbox this right now. And there we have it, folks. There, flip it over. Oh wow. I want to see how much features they packed into this, seeing it the first time, and how good Samsung is at explaining all the new features in this 100 times space zoom, they're calling it. And look at these different lenses here. So looks like we got the ultra wide, the standard camera, and this looks like the 100 times zoom. Let's take a look at how thick that is. Oh my god. Super fast charger, USB-C, USB-C fast charge, wired headphones, so we're gonna have to stick to our Galaxy Buds. And while we have this turning on, this is the Galaxy S10 Plus over here. So the maxed out last generation model, screen size difference from the S10. It has none of this dual punch features. It looks like it only has one over here. And this has a little flatter screen versus the edge-to-edge screen. And I actually didn't like that because of all the palm rejection in the apps that I had. Alright, while it checks for updates, let's take a look at the differences. Bars, no more of this old True Tone flash, is all there, just through different setup. Oh my goodness, what is this 100 times zoom there? That is insane. Differences in terms of the thickness. Alright. Next, comes with the USB-C to USB-C. Sure, why not bring it all? Wow, that was very speedy, that. I want faster recognition, require my open eyes. Sure.
We're all set.
Alright, so we're gonna keep copying our stuff until this finishes. There are so many features in this device. It is insane. Alright, so obviously the main thing is on the S20 Ultra, it has the 108 megapixel ultra wide camera over here, along with the supposed 100 times zoom, but that zoom is more or less a digital zoom versus the 10 times optical zoom that they have. Plus they've significantly increased the nighttime mode sensor, so we can go ahead and test that out. And also, this has a higher refresh rate screen, but of course you're gonna have to dig into all the settings when we jump into it. So let's go ahead and let's go into the display here. The standard refresh rate is at 60. Let's change it to 120 and let's kill this 5,000 milliamp hour battery. All right, and just like that, it looks so much more buttery smooth. All right, let's see that again. So now we are scrolling through apps, so you can see how it's faster, or maybe it's not because the video we're shooting on is 60 hertz. Change it here. Apply that, and you can see a significant difference. High refresh rate isn't supported, so it'll change it. Nope, so you cannot do that. We gotta go back to the full HD. Okay, cool. We'll just leave it as is. All right, so a couple other things. Let's go into here. Let's go into the camera. It features 8K shooting, and that means even when you take stills from your video recordings, you'll get 33 megapixels in your picture, but obviously you're gonna have to dig into the settings here, and let's just play around with some of these guys before we even get into this. So the rear video size, of course, it's set to the standard resolution 1920 by 1080. So let's go ahead and just change that to the 16 by 9 8K. And this front camera here should be a 40 megapixel camera. Do I want it 60 frames per second? No, I'll leave it at the highest resolution we can. And you obviously have video stabilization, auto HDR, selfie tone, but let's go ahead into the camera. So single take over here. So let's go ahead and take a single take of me flipping my phone over. Let's do slightly different angles. I'll have a full video shoot pretty soon. So let's stop that and let's see what it took for us. Alright, so in single take, it told me that that was my best shot, taking a photo of my old phone. Alright, here, let's go ahead and look at this. There you go. That's a back and forth of me waving the phone. The AI is just understanding that I did some motion with that. Alright, let's go over here. What did this think? That just looks like it's zooming in and out. Nothing too much. Obviously, you would have to do some action cam for it. Little darker background you notice here versus what's called the best shot with the little crown. And what's this? Looks like just a standard photo, but notice that the phone isn't as zoomed. So I agree that is the best shot. Okay, so another thing is the pictures in the gallery is now syncing with OneDrive versus Samsung Cloud. So I guess it's a win for Microsoft. The photos that we just talked about, this is HDR 8K, and we can look at all these different features here. You can add your filters to that. We can make an emotion photo or a live photo, 3x4, or we can change the aspect ratios, but look at that, 108 megapixels. This is a very high resolution photo. We just selected that. So let's just see what this chord madness looks like when we take that. Let's take a look at that. 108 megapixels. All right, can you guys read that barcode over there? I don't think I can. So it is very large. Look how large this is, right? However, once you zoom in, you kind of lose all of those details. Although, man, look how far zoomed. That is 108 megapixels. All right, you have this timer that's on or off, flash, and you go back to your settings over there. As for video, you can see that we went into settings, and this is 9:16 photo at 8K resolution, and record what this is. Now, one of the features that they said was the super steady AI. So you notice when it kind of changes it, kind of when I'm walking around, it makes it more steady. So I can also take that, and notice it gets this very steady. It looks kind of artificial, but it is balancing it, and let's stop that as well. Take a look at our footage here. You can tell that when I swayed back and forth, you know, I'm not on a pivot or anything, it's pretty smooth, but it's back and forth, it sways pretty nicely. And when you replay your videos, you can zoom in as much as you please, and just like that, you can still there's this little button right here, and that will allow you to take a photo of anything here, but you notice that quality isn't so good. You can see the controller right over there in the background. We took a very high resolution photo, that's 108 megapixels. Obviously this looks the best. When you zoom in, look how far you can zoom in. You can see the link on my controller, the ABX over there. Let's go back over here. This is the 8K video that I took without any artificial stabilization. And you notice even here, it's pretty good lighting. And if I play the video officially, then I can go in and I can zoom, I can pause, and I can go ahead and take a photo with that if I'd like to, just like that. All right, and have fun with that. Or go back and have our stabilized video, and you can see that right there. It's pretty stabilized, so I'll probably be using this feature a lot. If I'm taking any action cams or going skiing. So you can see this is an ultra wide, or we zoom in over here. Let's see what options we have with the anti-stabilization, 8K, and zoomed in. Well, we're gonna have even finer detail. My problem is megapixels don't necessarily translate to clarity and very good photos. So we're gonna have to test this more in outside environments, but right now these are our first impressions. And let's go into more. So I'm noticing these Pro features. So you notice Pro right there in Pro Video. If I click into Pro, this will give you access to the ISO, the shutter, kind of the autofocus, the white balance, kind of the contrast there, all these different things that pros like to play with. Got more again. And you have your panorama, food photos, night photos, live focus video, live focus, and general Pro Video. Pro Video will give you the same access to the tools. All right, you still have Bixby over here trying to analyze the scene. Obviously, it thinks that I'm in the house, which I am. Perfect. Let's go ahead and flip this over real quickly. Hello. So this is a 40 megapixel front-facing camera, and I'm wondering, there you go, there's this option here where if there's two people taking a selfie, it'll zoom out. So if you notice from the Galaxy S10 Plus over here, there's no more of that staple cutout or this Wall-E eyes cutout in this corner here. It's just one hole punch. So I like that because you get more of your screen back. And I can always click here, make it a standard selfie, zoomed in, or a little wider to take photos of you and your significant other or your friends who want to take the selfie. Same thing here on the front. You have a 40 megapixel, but you have to dive into that. All right, let's smile for the selfie. All right, and just like that, if we zoom, and you notice this, we can zoom in really far. Let's see, look at my brow, look at my glasses, even farther. But as you get closer, way too close to my eye, you notice you lose all that detail and it gets a little grainy. But it's 40 megapixels, so you can't go wrong. And so you notice that you need to use this option in the top corner in the center here pretty often to see what your options are. The timer, which you don't need, and you can't access any of this stuff when you're on the front-facing camera, but you can when you're facing it this way. And again, that's your filters, and that's you're making it a motion photos. Motion photos don't exist when you're flipping this over for selfie camera. And look at that, you can see the corner over here now where you can't even see it on the camera. Very still, look at that little moon feature go up. Look at that, they even edited it further. You can see the clarity of that light, the outside window. Look, even if we zoom in, since we have such a high resolution, ta-da, the Space Needle. You can even zoom in farther, again with that 10 times zoom on this back. 10 times zoom coupled, well, I don't think you want to go that far, but you can zoom in on the camera as well. It's a 5,000 milliamp battery life. This is the largest screen, but unfortunately, guys, I'm so used to large screen phones, but this is the largest screen that they've ever built in this type of traditional phone format. It's flatter, the screen versus the bezel versus over here. You used to have this edge kind of screen over here that always have your palm, so it's a little flatter here. It's the standard Samsung UI 2 that comes with these phones. I've yet to see major differences, but obviously things are more intuitive, more thumb friendly. They really got their smart sync together because that was a very seamless process in setting this up. And this is probably why I'm leaving foldable phones just in the dust, because you can pack so much innovations and reliability. This is still waterproof, right? It has all these single shots, all these features that I really want in a camera, and I'm really excited to make this my main driver. Alright guys, so let me know what things you want to test. I'm going to do a music test on this phone and a general review in the coming days. Thank you so much for watching this unboxing and setup, and I hope this answers your questions.